Welcome back to another video. We are 9-4 or more, where we talk Jaguars football and other news around the National Football League. And week 5 is here for the Jacksonville Jaguars. It's Jaguars versus Titans. And, now it's kind of turned into an interesting game for the Jaguars, Brandon.
Yeah, I think if you would ask us maybe 2 weeks ago how this was going to go, I would be completely opposite what I'm thinking the day before.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, first things first, if the Jaguar, I'm going to get kind of ahead of myself here, but with the news of Russell Wilson now out for potentially up to 6 to 8 weeks, the Jaguars, if they can beat the Titans, beat the Dolphins, and then they play a Seahawks team without Russell Wilson, the Jaguars are all of a sudden right back into this thing. So this game tomorrow is a must win for the Jaguars, and they have a lot of things falling in their favor, especially when it comes to the injury report. I definitely think we need to talk about this injury report though for the Tennessee Titans.
It's one of the worst injury reports I think I've almost ever seen. Like, it seems like half their team is hurt.
But yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, the big name is obviously Julio Jones is out. Bud Dupree actually just became they moved him to out. He was questionable. But then you have some guys on their offensive lineman that went to IR, and as well as that are questionable going into this game. So they are banged up at a lot of key positions, which definitely could benefit the Jaguars.
Yeah, 100%. The main thing I've been harping on is their center position. Their backup center / guard, Aaron Brewer, is going to be out for the game. We know that. And then their starting center, Ben Jones, has been limited all week with a neck injury. If Ben Jones does not play this game, they will not have a starting just a center on their active roster. They're going to have move one of their guards. I don't know what their practice squad situation is, if they have a center on their practice squad or not. But if he is, he's a practice squad center. So that's the number one injury I'm looking out for. If Ben Jones is out, their interior offensive line, which has already been bad, they have not even had a good offensive line, is going to be even worse. And this might be finally Jacksonville maybe gets a few sacks, hopefully.
Hopefully, Jaguars definitely need a blitz and, contain Derrick Henry as best as you can. I mean, let's be honest, Derrick Henry is probably still going to run over 100 yards, probably more so 130, 140. But he ran for like 150, 160 versus the Jets. And they obviously had A.J. Brown out and Julio. But it does seem like Shaq Griffin is going to be shadowing A.J. Brown, who A.J. Brown has actually, kind of terrorized the Jaguars as well. So hopefully Griffin can continue that tread. I think he's like 2 straight good games of allowing 21 yards or less. First to DeAndre Hopkins, and last week he didn't shadow at all, but he still only allowed like 15 or 16 yards. So we will see what happens versus that matchup. But for the Jaguars injury report, I mean, the only 2 main guys is Tyson Campbell's questionable and Roy Robertson Harrison is out for the 3rd straight game. But having Tyson Campbell questionable, and if he doesn't play, honestly, it could be for the better for the Jaguars as of right now.
I don't know about this point, man. That means we'll have Clay Brooks on the outside. And
I mean, he might be slightly better. I think Campbell's allowed, I think, the most yards in the air in the NFL right now.
Something like that. I mean, he's always there, but he's never I'm iffy about it because I don't really care for Clay Brooks either. Like, Clay Brooks is fast, but the second Clay Brooks came in against that Broncos game, very first play, completely attacked him, and Sutton got like a 70-yard bomb. So It's not necessarily like I like Clay Brooks either, and I think that's their biggest weak points. Outside of Shaq, we're really going to be hurting on that corner position. So hopefully we just got to control the ball.
I think that corner position for the Jaguars definitely became maybe the number 1 priority next year in free agency or the draft.
Kid out of LSU, man, I want him. Like, every time I look at it, I'm like, we're either getting the rusher out of Oregon or we're getting the corner out of LSU if we're in the top 2, because those 2 are probably going to go 1-2 if the way that this college football season is looking, like, not very good for quarterbacks.
Especially if the Jaguars end up one of those top 3 positions. But, at first I was all for getting the Jags offensive lineman from Alabama, but the Jags are actually the 5th or 4th best offensive line. They've only allowed 6 sacks this year. Obviously, some of that has to do with Trevor Lawrence's play by getting the ball out quicker. But overall, I mean, the offensive line has actually been very, very good. And that's something I think that can definitely help the Jaguars out in this game, especially not going against Bud Dupree. Overall, I mean, I'm not really afraid of any of the Titans pass rushers.
Nope.
And also, I think their linebacker, Evans, right? I think he's out as well.
Yeah, they also got one of their other linebackers, Jayon Brown.
Jayon Brown. That's out. That's what I meant,
Evans is gonna play. I think he was full. Yeah, he was full practice Thursday and Friday, but he still was.
Jayon Brown's pretty big.
He was still hurt. And it's just literally, you can name it. There's like I'm looking at their injury report. Their punter's also out.
He's actually a good punter.
So if we get even a shank punt or, some kind of like bad punt that could change the game too, the way this is going
Well,
forward.
Agnew, man, he's gonna kick it to Agnew.
There's so many things wrong with this Titans roster at this point that they were already not great. And then with this injury, this is the time Jaguars got to strike. Like, I want a confident win. Like, I don't want something close. Like, this is the game where if they can get 10 days rest, go out division opponent at home. If they blow this team, I don't think it's gonna be a blowout, but if we win by even a touchdown or more, I'm gonna be very happy with how that, like you described, Dolphins not too scared of them. It's in London and in Seattle out Russell Wilson. After a bye week, this Jaguars team could possibly be 3-4. Like it's not crazy to say that at this point. If you told me that 2 weeks ago, I would have said you're crazy.
But yeah, these next two games against the Titans and Dolphins are important, especially the Titans have the Bills next week. So if we win the next two and Titans lose the next two, we are actually in first place more likely in the division.
Well, actually, we need the Colts to lose because the Colts face the Texans 2 weeks from now. Odds are the Colts will probably win that game.
Yeah, I think the Ravens will beat the Colts though. So
yeah, so exactly. So we'll be tied, I believe, with the Colts for first place if we beat the Titans this week and win against the Dolphins.
Yeah. Yep. Absolutely. As long as the Texans don't win, since they had that tiebreaker over us.
Yeah. I think we'll change that when we face them later in the year.
I hope so. But I think for the keys for the Jaguars, James Robinson, get him continuing more carries. See if Carlos Hyde, even if Carlos Hyde is active, definitely need to get him a few more carries as well. Mm-hmm. Literally, if we can run the ball 30 to 40 times, I'm all for that. And literally only allow Trevor Lawrence to pass 20 times. I've seen the stat, when the Jaguars run the ball with the average, I think the Jaguars are pushing almost like 5 yards per carry, like maybe like 4.8. It's actually the best in the NFL. So that is showing they are the best running attack in the NFL when they run the ball. Obviously, Derrick Henry's the best running back, but there's a big difference between running attack and running back. Yep. So definitely get the running game going. And then also use Laviska Shenault as much as you can, or maybe even get Jamal Agnew involved.
Yeah, he's my guy. Jamal Agnew, I like to see get involved this week. I think they're going to him and Dan Arnold. I think the Bengals game was kind of like not necessarily like a tryout game or like get them going, but kind of just like, let's see what they can do. And Agnew on that toe tap, I think we're going to use him in the running game. Trevor, we're going to use him, Hyde, Robinson, and hopefully the play action's there. Maybe Dan Arnold goes out on a play action and there he is. So I think if Arnold probably would have gotten a touchdown last game if he wasn't held, because that was one of the big penalties was I can't remember the safety's name for the Bengals, held Arnold in the end zone when Trevor was rolling out there looking for him. So you never know. I think we could do another similar thing. And I'm looking for Arnold to, I think this might be his breakout game as a Jaguar. And by breakout, I mean like 5 catches for 50 yards and a touchdown, which is probably the best tight end performance we've had in like 3 years or whatever.
Right. I mean, Arnold has some speed. He compliments Trevor Lawrence a lot, and he definitely said something. What did he say? He said he's happy that he's on a team that wants him. So obviously, he wasn't too happy that he got traded, but he's happy to be here. And I know Urban Meyer really wanted Darren Arnold, but also then for the Jaguars offense, I think limit turnovers. Trevor Lawrence didn't turn the ball over last week. And then also just like communicating well, and as well as not taking the foot off the gas. You can tell the offense did that. Even the defense cost us the Bengals game, but in the second half, besides that one drive, the Jaguars had no answer for the Bengals on offense. So, score in the second half. Just don't just play in the first half. Play in the second half.
Yep. We did the same thing that we did against the Patriots in the AFC Championship game. We coasted. We're up by 14. Let's just play it simple, instead of just doing the game plan. And I think we're going to see a lot of Trevor running the ball. I actually think the Titans may try to copy the Jaguars playing style, because Ryan Tannehill is a running quarterback too. He was actually a wide receiver in college that transferred into a quarterback position. He's a little older, but he can get it done. And the way that their wide receivers aren't looking, they saw, I think, a lot of good things from the Jaguars with using RPOs. I think the Titans may try to do like an RPO situation in this game and maybe try to copy the Jaguars the way that this game's going to go, I feel like.
Yeah, absolutely. Trevor Lawrence is a lot more comfortable in the pocket, and just like when he knows he has ability to run. That first week, what he was basically told by the coaches, he's try not to run. Yeah, he's a running quarterback. If he wants to run, let him run. He can throw in a run. That's actually one of his strongest suits. You've seen that pass to Laviska, that 56-yard pass right before the half. So hopefully we see more of that. And for the defensive side of the ball, limit Derrick Henry as much as you can. Don't allow more than I think as long as you don't allow more than 160, I think it's a pretty good day for the Jaguars.
I would
I
I
know
would still shoot for 100, but I understand that that's difficult. But if we're up by 14 points, let's say 17 points, and maybe we actually get a field goal instead of going for it. If we're up by 17 points, I don't know if the Titans can afford to run the ball against this Jaguars run defense in the way that
Jags run defense is very good, actually.
it's probably their only strong suit on defense, realistically. Like, especially when Jenkins comes down in the box, Jenkins just blows up plays. Damian Wilson's a really good run stopper. So I think the Titans are actually going to have a very hard time scoring against this Jaguars team. And I think if we're up by 2 scores and then we're in the second half, they're going to try to keep the ball at Henry, but I think they're going to they saw what the Bengals did against us where they went 5 wide. And I think they're going to try to do that a couple times. Obviously, so it worked against us last week. So I feel like the Titans, if they're down, I feel like they're going to do that. And that will be the big thing for the Jaguars. Can we stop the 5 wide?
And as long as Shaq Griffin guards AJ Brown the whole day, I think we'll somewhat have success because Griffin's actually been pretty good this year for us. Yeah. But I think the main thing is also people need to realize Derrick Henry can actually catch out of the backfield. He's actually a pretty good.
He's gotten better this year. This year he has more catches, I think, this year already than he did all of last year.
And last year he had a bunch of, I think last year he had like a 90-yard or screen pass for that to the house versus the Texans. So he's capable of catching out of the backfield. So people need to be aware of that as well.
Yeah.
I would have Miles Jack be one of the spies on him, and just if he goes out wide, let him cover him.
Yeah, let your 2 best defensive players guard their 2 best offensive players. If I don't even know who, I think some guy Rogers is their 3rd string. I know they have Josh Reynolds, and I think there's another guy like Chester.
Josh Reynolds has not played good. When I was listening to some Titans videos, they said he's not played good at all.
So, I mean, I haven't even heard his name once, I think. And you've had Julio Jones and AJ Brown out multiple different times this year, and you have never heard Josh Reynolds' name even brought up. So, I'm not scared of him. That Rogers guy, I'm pretty sure is his name. I think it's Chester Rogers.
Yeah, Chester Rogers, yeah.
Yeah, he's a kind of like speedy guy. They also like that running back. I think they use McNichols.
Yeah, he's actually showed some promise. He's actually pretty fast too.
So those are the 2 guys I would watch out for. I think AJ Brown and Derrick Henry are the guys. But the last game we had some guys that CJ Omowusa and Tyler Boyd completely owned us. Jamar Chase had his own kind of yards. But this game I would look out for is Jeremy Nichols or that Chester Rogers. Those would be the 2 that as long as we contain those 2 guys and AJ Brown and Derrick Henry kind of just do their thing, they're going to get yards, they're going to get catches. But as long as this is those 2 and we don't let anybody else on this Titans team go off, I feel like this is a very good game for the Jaguars.
Absolutely. And also bring the pressure. Titans have allowed 17 sacks, I believe, already with the offense. Last year, I think they only allowed like 20 something. So they're already almost at what they allowed last year. So definitely bring pressure. I would not drop Josh Allen in coverage a lot this game. I would try to get him to the quarterback and cause Ryan Tannehill to make mistakes and, cause some pressure. And I don't want to, be that person that jumps on the bus kind of early or, 3 years into his, into his career. But besides that rookie year, I'm not calling Josh Allen a bust, but he's not living up to that top 7 pick.
Yeah, 100%. This is a game where I want a strip sack or 2 sacks, something that really sticks out on the like when you look at the stat sheet, not just, we played 60% of the snaps, had 2 pressures and maybe 1 sack. Like that's good, but it's not blowing my mind of like Josh Allen, like we see that with Nick Bosa. We see that with some of the other elite pass rushers that Josh Allen was in company of when he was coming out of Kentucky. So this is the game where I think he needs to have something just, wow, he had 2 sacks and 1 was like a strip and it completely changed the game. And I think hopefully we see that this game.
Yep. I hopefully we see that as well. So let's do some score predictions really quick. I think this is a game the Jaguars are actually going to score a decent amount of points. Titans fans are probably obviously going to disagree with us, but I'm going to go Jaguars are going to score 30 and the Titans, it'll be a close game. I'm going to go 27.
Yeah, man. I don't think the Titans are going to score that much. Like, honestly, I think Derrick Henry will have that one big run. AJ Brown may have that one big play that sets them up, but they're just so hurt, man. I can't look at this team and think that they're going to put so many points on us, especially the way that we've been actually playing the last couple of games. If we just play the second half, I see this game. I think both teams are going to try to run the ball and control the clock. I think it's going to be like a 21 to 17 Jaguars win, where it's just going to be a running game. through and through, and whoever has the ball last will probably end up winning. Just like how last couple games been for the Jaguars, where as long as we don't turn the ball over, and as long as we have the ball when the clock needs to run out, I think we got a very good shot to win that game. And I think
Let
that's
Trevor Lawrence's first win be against the Titans. I would love that.
Hey, if we've done crazier things have happened.
Hey, in 2019, Gardner Minshew beat the Titans. I think actually seeing a stat, the Titans actually struggle a lot against rookie quarterbacks. Zach Wilson, Gardner Minshew, the list goes on. So they're known under Mike Vrabel to lose to rookie quarterbacks. So maybe that trend continues.
They're also known for not letting Derrick Henry do anything the first game against the Jaguars. He's averaging like 60 yards per first game with the Jaguars. It's the second game that he kills us at. He averages like 200 yards that second game. But this first game, he only averages like 50 or 60. So hopefully that trend continues. And if we hold Derrick Henry to 60 yards this game, there's no way you can tell me we lost this game unless it's one of those stupid games that we lose 9-6, like we always do with the Titans, where if it's a terrible game, we're both playing terrible and they win by a field goal.
Yeah. Hopefully that's not the case. Hopefully the Jaguars blow them out of the water. The Jaguars have had 10 days of rest. Let's get to work, get this win, and hopefully compete for the division. Hopefully, this is a must win for the Jaguars. But other than that, thank you all for watching. Definitely check us out on Twitter. I know Brandon tweets a lot for us on 904 and more. But other than that, thanks for watching, and go Jags.
Go Jags.